we're told twice what kind of place they're in. First time, Matthew simply describes it, that Jesus goes in a boat to a desolate place. And then the disciples coming to Jesus at the end of the day say, "Send the crowds away. This is a desolate place." So that's the setting of this story, a place of desolation. And I suppose it's something that shapes the mood of the beginning of the story. Why has Jesus gone to this desolate place? He's heard news of John the Baptist. We don't know exactly what the relationship between John the Baptist and Jesus was like, but they certainly knew each other. Luke tells us they were related. And it clearly affects Jesus, hearing that John has been murdered in prison, murdered at the whim of a dancing girl and her revengeful mother. So with this shocking news, Jesus goes off just to be alone. Now, of course, the crowd follow him. They join him in this place of desolation. And it's interesting that he has compassion on them. He sees their desolation in this place of desolation. And it's interesting, here he says that he begins to heal them. You know, in other accounts of this feeding of the multitude, we hear of Jesus teaching them. But here it's just about healing, according to Matthew. In this place of need, Jesus responds to it. And he's prepared to go on and on responding to it. The disciples come and say, "The day's over, send the people away." And he says, there's no need. There's no need for them to go away. He still has work to do for these desolate people in that desolate place. I think it says something about how Jesus is, even when he is, well, I suppose the word might be down, a bit depressed, upset, when he's in not a good place for himself, having heard the news of John the Baptist. But he sees the people in their need, and he responds. Now, of course, that's a message for you and me. There may be times when we feel down. There may be times when we feel exhausted. There may be times when we feel, well, do people not understand what I'm going through, where I am, how I am? How can they expect of me something more? How can they expect from me to give and to give, even when I'm running on empty? And Jesus gives us the example of someone doing that. Now, of course, we could say, well, he's God. He's God. He knows far more than we do. He's far more capable than us. And so, therefore, we can expect it of him. And yet, of course, the whole thing about Jesus is that, yes, he's truly God, but he's truly human as well. And he experiences the desolation of life in exactly the same way that we can. And yet he responds. And then in this desolate place, a place without any resources, he tells the disciples that they should feed the multitude. Now, they responded, they've only got 5 loaves and 2 fish. But of course, the expectation of Jesus to feed the multitude is going beyond what they might have in their knapsack. When he says, you find them something to eat, he wants them to draw from something way beyond what they have, beyond their resources. It's very interesting at the moment. We're going through a lot of debate about the church in this part of the world and in England and in Europe, and what's the future for it all, and we're aware of declining numbers and reduced resources. And in our discussion about reduced resources, we all are very much aware that we need to tighten our belts and be more cautious, to be careful, so that we can somehow pass on that which has been handed to us. And yet here, in this place of no resource, of desolation, Jesus said, just feed these thousands of people. Just do it. It's a real challenge. I think it's to push us back and make us think, you may feel that you're out without resource. You may feel it's impossible to achieve certain things. But with God's help, you'll be astonished at what you can do. In this desolate place, in this place of no resource, Jesus says, have compassion on the crowd. Feed them. And then I could never stop thinking about this particular one. They have 5 loaves. Now by a loaf they mean what would we call a large bread bun. And we're told there are 5,000 men and there's women and children. So 5 loaves, well, that's 1 per 1,000 men, let alone the women and the children. 1 bread bun for 1,000. And he takes it and he breaks it and he says, just give it to them. You see that 1,000 people over there? Just take this bread bun and share it out among them. An impossible task. Ridiculous task. I know what I would say if somebody gave me a bread bun and then said, you see that huge crowd over there? Just share it out among them. They're not even going to get a crumb each. I'd have probably just put the bread bun down and said, you do it. But the disciples obey Jesus, do what he asks them, and somehow this amazing event takes place. Somehow they never run out. Somehow in the desolation, this place without resource, they keep on giving. It's to make us think about the impossible tasks, the things that we think cannot be done, whether in our own lives or as members of a parish family, a diocesan family. We might think this is beyond us. But the Lord says, just do it. Those disciples must have had incredible faith to take the bread bun to the 1,000 people and all the women and children with them and just start handing it out. They just do it. So should we.